Yo, 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 Soup Squad! It's your boy Nimbo, Soup again. Today I'm flying out the ME-262A1A at battle rating 7.0 for you guys. This thing is not the best plane, I'm just going to throw that out there right now. But for whatever reason, I think it only stems from the guns having as much stopping power as they do. I actually had quite a fun time playing this thing. This video is going to be a little bit different than we're used to. I mean, it's still going to be the clips and commentary over them, but the commentary itself is going to be more so how to get kills and find success playing this thing versus what it performs like, because it's really not the best, so I don't see too much of a point in talking about performance. And maybe this style of video is a little bit more personable, so hopefully you guys enjoy it. If you do, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and let's get into the gameplay. Alright, welcome into the gameplay, everybody. Fair warning, I'm going to be doing a lot of yapping in this video. Usually when I'm prepared, I write a couple of thoughts down, what to say, when I should say it. Today, if you saw my community post a couple of days ago, by the time this video goes up, you'll know that I'm just going to freeball it. Another warning is that there's not going to be too much editing throughout this video. Again, not too much time to get this up. However, I'm actually not too upset about that because for whatever reason, the hour and a half I played this thing to get footage for it went really well. I got some really good gameplay for you guys today, so make sure you're paying attention to the gameplay, but also remember to do what I say and not what I do, because sometimes I'll put myself into stupid situations just for the sake of looking cool. Now that that's out of the way, we can finally start talking about the 262, because I'm sitting on like 2 kills already and haven't said a word about it. I'm going to start out pretty general here. The way you should play this thing, the way I like to play this thing, is to keep your speed as high as possible at all times. Speed is life in early jets in general. I don't know if you saw my early jet guide last video or not, but especially in this thing. It doesn't have too many things going for it, so you gotta stay fast to make sure you can avoid the bad situations. Speaking of bad situations, got 2 guys on me here. Hey yo. They both overshoot me. 828 pretends he's gonna keep booming and zooming. LA200 for some reason reverses the turn. I feel like he should have definitely kept flying straight. We clean him up real quick. 828 also reverses the turn, but at this point he waited too long and now he's out in front of me. I just missed the shot, slightly below where I needed to be aiming. F84 coming in from behind that I had no idea was coming. Hits me decently well. I feel like this damage should not have impacted me here as much as it did, but whatever. There's too many people around me, not enough teammates for me to make something happen from this anyways. 828's overshooting, I'm just trying to take whoever I can with me, and I just missed the shot. Honestly, it looked kind of like he flew through my bullets there. Oh yeah, and missed once again. That was not very exciting. Since we've established that the key altogether is avoiding the situations like you just saw me in there, because your plane isn't really good enough to get you out of them, something that's going to help you with that is having good positioning. Now this starts at the very beginning of the match when you start climbing and building up your energy. You want to do it to the side, or at least make sure that you're not doing it straight into the entire enemy team, because you will make yourself a very easy target. There's going to be a lot of air spawn planes up above you, or honestly most other planes will be up above you. Doesn't even matter if they have an air spawn or not. And you'll be the first person to die in the match, and that's never fun. Instead, go off to the side a little bit, make sure you get your energy built up, and once you get it built up, try to keep it as best you can the entire match, because it takes forever to build up energy in this thing, and as soon as it gets low is when enemies are probably going to come for you. Now I was dogfighting a couple of SU-11s here, a couple of teammates on one of them, set them on fire, figured that was going to be the end of it. Little did I imagine it's an SU-11, and I should have known better than that. He's still chasing me, but luckily that damage makes it so he can't really catch me here. You can see me a little salty about it in the chat, because that guy just put out a fire. Anyways, had an A2D on the way diving away from the SU-11. See if I can't hit a shot on him real quick. Unfortunately I missed because I suck, but can't commit to that too hard or else I would have hit the ground. LA200 just cruising by, we're all chilling. No bad vibes here. F80 coming head on. I don't really know what the plan was for him there. I don't know if he even saw me or not. Guess maybe he was just trying to bait me for the SU-11. Doesn't matter, at this point we're still just running from this freaking SU-11 that put that fire out. I think he wants me pretty bad. So I'll just use this time to talk about the 262 some more. The main draw of this plane, or honestly the only draw of this plane, at least for me, the main reason I had fun is because of the armament this thing gets. You have 4 30mm, the Mark 108s I think they are, maybe the 103s, whatever the lower velocity ones are, it's the one this thing has. You get a decent amount of ammo because they fire so slow, it doesn't go too fast, which can be both good and bad sometimes. I mean, it's good in the sense that you don't go through a lot of ammo very fast, but it's bad in the sense that a lot of enemies can seem to fly through your bullets. I mean, and you saw in the last clip, that 828, I feel like I should have hit him twice, but instead I just couldn't really connect because my fire rate was too low, but that's alright. Damage output more than makes up for it from these guns. I mean, obviously it's going to be high with 4 30mm, but these things especially, even if you just breathe on an enemy with one bullet, they will get evaporated. Some of the most satisfying shots you can hit in this game, in my opinion, are actually with these guns, especially if the enemy is like a little far away or traveling straight away from you or something, because the velocity is so low that these bullets are in the air absolutely forever, so there's not much more satisfying in this game, in my opinion, than shooting and waiting 3 or 5 seconds for your bullets to actually connect and watching the enemy go boom. Now, of course, you know, low velocity, low fire rate. If you're using night belts, they don't even go farther than 0.6 kilometers because they explode after that far. These guns are ridiculously difficult to aim, but once again, as long as you hit them with one shot, it should do the job. On the topic of the guns, since they're such low velocity, do not try to take head-ons. It is just not going to work out well for you. I mean, any gun in the game is going to be able to shoot you farther out than you can shoot them. Of course, you could try the pull in at the last second stupid style of head-on. I do not recommend doing that because any somewhat smart player is going to know exactly where to aim and pre-fire you pretty much, and you're just going to have no chance. But if you're facing someone that maybe doesn't know so much what they're doing, or you're not in a good situation and you need to thin the numbers out some more, it can be a somewhat viable option to try to pull into them at the last second. The damage model on this thing is actually really good. I was a little bit surprised because I had heard before that it wasn't. It's really much better once you get the modifications researched. As long as you don't get hit in the engine, you can take a little bit of a beating in this thing, so if you are going to pull in at the last second to a head-on, you might actually survive. But, you know, as long as you're playing it the way we talked about, keeping your speed and energy high at all times, sticking to the outskirts of the battle, trying not to make yourself a target, shouldn't really have to worry about needing to take head-ons with people anyways, so as long as you do that, you should be alright. And before I forget, major shout out right now to this F89 on the screen. I mean, this guy and I basically won the game for our team single-handedly, and you'll see me working with him in the chat later on in the clip, but I just want to say that before I forget. See Vixen out in front of me going pretty slow, somehow missed this shot, a little bit of a wonky rudder situation once again. That's alright though. Pretty good example in this clip of me just staying fast, sticking to the outskirts, making sure I keep my situational awareness up. Problem in this game is that I'm facing Su-11s, there's even a freaking MiG-15 in there. I don't even know how that's possible. Oh yeah, the BR changes. I think the BR changes made this thing actually a little bit worse, because if you guys saw the community tab like we talked about earlier, I actually had a video made already for the 262, and some unfortunate circumstances happened and I no longer have that video, so here we are. Anyways, I was getting a lot more down tiers in the previous video, which was before the new BR changes, and all of a sudden now I'm facing MiG-15s, mostly A5 Sabres, because most of the time you won't be facing Russia. That should not really be a thing in my opinion, which I guess is a good segue to talk about the matchmaker. Honestly, I don't really mind too much if I get an up tier versus a down tier in this thing. I mean, I say that now that the BR changes are here, I might actually, but beforehand I didn't really mind too much, and I'm sure it's not going to be too far off now, on the sole basis that facing props and facing jets both pose different challenges from each other, and I'd say they're both equally difficult in their own right. Of course, you'll have the option of just staying super fast and never having to worry versus props, which I highly recommend. But if you're on the deck, even if you're going 800 or 850 kilometers an hour, if there's a P-51H or a Spitfire Mark 24 or something at altitude trying to dive on you, and they take a good angle, you might actually have a chance of getting caught. So you just got to be careful in that situation. Watch me hit a reversal shot on this Su-11. That was probably the most satisfying kill I've ever got in this game. Those things are such rats, man. Anyways, what was I saying? Right, in up tier, the challenge is that a lot of the stuff you'll face is just going to be simply faster than you, and like we've been trying to say this video, you should keep your speed high and try to just run from people. But if that's not an option, if the enemy's faster than you, obviously you can't do that. So in that situation, my best advice would just be to take them to your teammates, try to bait. If you're inevitably going to go down, at least try to drain their energy as much as you can so that your team can maybe kill them easier and hopefully win the game still. I'm actually going to commentate over this clip here because this was probably the best sequence of 2 kills I've ever had in my entire life. This MiG-15 just took off, so I figured I would have at least a little bit of an energy advantage on him. Then I remembered it's a MiG-15 that newly just got moved to 8.0 instead of 8.3, so I got a little bit worried. He takes it vertical a little bit, which is smart. I don't think he had enough speed to do this at the start. Conversely, it is a MiG-15 and he can kind of just do whatever he wants. I decided not to stick that because I do not want to dogfight a MiG-15. Don't really see a point in it. Obviously, he is going to be able to catch me, so we're going to have to do some shifty reversal maneuvers here. My goal is that he's going to try to drop throttle. A MiG-15's energy retention is much better than an ME-262's is. To be honest, it's not terrible in the 262, and that's only because it doesn't pull too much AOA, but when you're on 0% throttle, pulling turns, especially if you take it a little vertical, you will lose your speed very quickly. Be careful doing stuff like this because, once again, speed is life, and if you're trying to get rid of speed to reverse somebody, you're extremely vulnerable. In this situation, I knew that it was just the MiG-15 and the Meteor, or whatever the hell the other thing is, still alive, so I knew I was good to do this because the Meteor was 20 kilometers away. This MiG-15 is slowly overshooting me. He dropped his throttle as far as it could go, and he's still overshooting me because it's a MiG-15 and it has good energy retention. At this point, he made a large mistake. He really should have just kept flying away, but he still tried to stick the dogfight with me. He pulls up into my guns for some reason. Even if he just stayed on the deck right there, he might have been alright. But I'm not complaining. He pulls a left turn, gives me a shot, and like I was talking about earlier, those shots on people that are traveling away from you, so satisfying to hit. I mean, you can see me in the chat. I did not expect to win that dogfight at all. One of those insanely satisfying moments. My last teammate alive, rest in peace, that F-89, that guy was a freaking legend, and honestly was the reason that we won this game, keeping that Meteor busy enough for me to take care of that MiG. At this point, I wasn't even confident going into the fight against the Meteor. I mean, he's starting with the energy advantage on me, turns better than me, it's a freaking Meteor, I'm in a 262, but let's see what happens. Coming head-on with me, 3 kilometers out. Once again, do not recommend that you take head-ons in this thing, but I'm just going to do a pull-in at the last second, see if I can make something happen, because I am not confident in my dogfighting abilities against a Meteor. Fortunately, he plays it completely wrong. He flies past the merge and then decides to turn around for the merge, and pulls right in front of my guns, and I can clean him up real quick. That was one of the more satisfying wins I've ever had in this game. And that's about all I've got for you on the ME-262 A1A. Now, I'm not super familiar with all the ME-262s, but I'm sure you can attribute most of the qualities of this thing to the other ones as well, you know, similar playstyles and whatnot. As far as do I recommend this for your first jet in Germany? I mean, there's not really too many other options. I would say it's between this and the Salamander. Do not get the 229, that's all I know for sure. One more thing while I've still got you here. Shout out to Dinma for leaving a comment for me to play the Squadron 262. I'm sorry I don't have the Squadron 262, but hopefully this one works out well enough for you. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it was kind of all over the place, but Honestly, the gameplay was really good, which is the reason why I still got it out and didn't just wait until next week. Also, I'm thinking that a lot of you guys might actually like it more styles of videos like this, because it's literally me just yapping and you kind of get to see more of my personality, and I don't know, maybe that's just a cope. Regardless, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to leave a like, a comment, subscribe, and turn those post notifications on so you don't miss any of my future uploads. You all know the deal. This is Nimbo Soup. Nimbo signing out. Peace out, fellas.